Walk, walk.
All right. How you feeling? Good? Are you
Sure.
warmed up?
I'm warmed up.
You're listening to Squatch Talks Podcast. Real stories and real encounters told by real researchers. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Got it. It must be Zoom telling me that it's being live streamed. Good evening, everybody. Hey, welcome to Squatch Talks Podcast live stream.
Hey, everybody.
Do I have to sit this way? I forget when it's opposite on you, right? So if I sit this way, then we look like we're having a conversation in front of the fire, right?
Yeah. We don't, but okay. There's no fire.
Good evening.
Good evening.
There isn't actually. I don't have a fireplace, but hey.
Yeah.
How's Nathan?
I'm doing pretty good. Had a pretty good Wednesday.
Good. So did I. Out in the woods, tooling about with my lady. Oh, had a couple of road crossings.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. Red fox.
Ooh, very nice.
Started us off. And a few deer. Oh, my gosh. Yeah, the fox was really healthy looking, too.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. Not like my fox.
No, not like your fox.
My fox is all mangy.
Mangy beast.
Yeah.
But we had a good time out in the Pine Barrens. Took some nice dash cam footage, so maybe we can use that and incorporate that into future episodes. Took a hike on the Batona Trail. I actually took a piece home with me. For anyone who doesn't know, it's pink blazes. Matches my shirt. But yeah, took home and Heather's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, it's on the ground." So
what the heck?
it's a piece of the Batona, man. That's kind of cool. So I'll put it on my display. There's no, you know. I said, well, since when are you in charge of my display? But hey, compromise, right?
That's what it's all about.
Squatch Talks. And I don't know if you noticed or not, up in the
yes,
section behind me here. I see the front where it says Squatch Talks Podcast, but yeah, we had some fun this weekend, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We had a good time. Friday started us off really good. I got out of work quick, made it down there to New Jersey.
In record time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you even beat me.
Yeah, anyway. And I kind of almost went past your house to get there.
Right? No, that was awesome. That was pretty cool of them to Pinelands Adventures. I can say their name. They reached out to the BFRO and Matt put them in touch with me, and we set up a Bigfoot cryptid night hike, first annual. And it kind of coincided with Halloween weekend, which is even better. You know?
Yeah, we even told some ghost stories.
Oh yeah.
Mike Young
in the house. What's up?
How are you? Yeah, it was fun. You guys went on your 2-hour hike you went on?
Yeah. 4-mile hike. Yeah.
4 miles.
And Andy's wife, Allison, I believe, helped out on the hike. And she's more of a Jersey Devil enthusiast.
Oh, yeah.
And has done, previous hikes with the groups out there.
Okay.
On Jersey Devil, So this was their first Bigfoot one, though, and we had 18 people show up that signed up.
That's pretty cool.
That was awesome.
Somebody else is on there. I can't see.
Nathan's
Robert,
getting his eye fixed, though.
That's
it's
right.
Good.
Yeah, I am getting my eye fixed.
He'll be able to see again real soon. I don't know what the hell I did with my phone, but you know what? I'm not attached to the hip, like some people.
I just brought it up here on the screen. I did a split screen, so
I'm glad since we said we're going to go live.
Yeah, somebody's got to know who else is out there.
I tell you, I just driving around these days, like heading out to the woods, you're sitting behind people at a light. I'm like, why isn't the light moving? Oh, there's some guy on his phone up ahead. It's every time.
Yeah.
So I won't sit here and get on my soapbox and rant and rave, but
put your phone down, go out in the woods.
That's it, man. I don't have reception because I got T-Mobile, so I can go out in the woods and I don't have to bring a phone because I got no cell service.
There you go.
Right. But we had a good time. Actually, Friday night, you guys hung out by the fire and tended the fire, right?
Yep. Got the water hot for the hot chocolate,
hot cocoa
and the s'mores and the hot dogs.
Oh,
yeah. And I don't want to take Terry's thunder because she wants to come on and tell the story, but her and Heather, they saw a UAP, is it? Unidentified aerial phenomenon. Yes, sir, they did.
You want to be PC about it.
That's right. That's the new nomenclature of our time, right? It's no UFOs anymore. It was pretty neat. I saw it on the night vision too.
You saw it on the night vision too, yeah, which was cool. Yeah.
It kept getting bright, and then I could still see it with that night vision.
And of course, Heather, being my wife, says, "Oh, that's just a star," Occam's razor, of course, and Terry's like, "No, it's not." So yeah, I won't give it away. I was going to ask you to talk about it, but
I think we're gonna talk
bring the ladies back.
That's right. So they both got to see it.
But first, I want to thank our sponsors until we get our new one, Black Rifle Coffee Company.
Yeah,
keeping us charged and ready to take those 4-hour hikes. Right? I think I brought one for you that night, and I had one.
That enabled me to get all the way home before I fell asleep.
Yeah. That was, believe me, 4 miles. I don't care how good of shape you are. We actually we led that whole group made it, and Jacob came on with his fiance Cassandra, and since I had their undivided attention, I finagled Jacob to meet up with me the next day to go retrieve my trail camera from the Paleo Dune where he had his encounter in 2018.
Right.
And as an added treat, I got Cooper, who was the other witness, to join us. So, yeah, cool. That was pretty cool. But now, getting real quick back to Friday night, Andy wasn't feeling so good. He had like a sudden onset of like a flu-like thing. So him and I and Allison led the group out. And we did a few, we stopped at a couple of different locations on the way where Andy's had some activity, and he, relayed to the group what happened to him and his dog Willow, which they found very interesting. I took a few photos, and I had my therm, took some night vision pictures of the group. At one point, I did a little whoop and a couple of knocks. I think I did a couple of knocks. You guys couldn't hear us. We were maintaining radio contact most of the time, though.
Well, right when you left, we made the jaunt to Mighty Joe's to get the hot dog rolls.
Yeah,
so that's why we weren't responsive there right at the beginning.
I didn't even try in the beginning, so there was no worries there. But then we got to the second place that Andy wanted to stop and tell another story at. And after he told his story, one of the attendees, it was actually Jacob. Jacob did a call. Nice long Ohio style howl.
Yeah.
Sounded really good. I think you probably heard it back at base camp. And then we had everybody join in, and that was a group howl. I tell you, I don't think I've ever done a group howl before, but it worked out really. I take that back. I did it the Wolves, the place up in northern New Jersey. They have a wolf rescue. We did a group howl there, but this one was really good. And everybody got into it, and they had a good time. Led them back. We did detour one little spot at the end instead of going off to the meadow where another experience, I guess you could say, happened. We bypassed that and head straight back to the road, and then came back around to base camp for the s'mores activity. But I
Right.
tell you, everybody seemed like they had a good time. Got a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
nice compliments and told some stories.
Yep. Told some
Right.
good stories around the campfire afterwards. Told everybody about the UFO. And yeah, I think went pretty well. I enjoyed it.
And so we're going to be planning to do some more of those,
Yeah.
from what I understand, and we'll be promoting it on our platform.
Yeah, that'll be great.
So I'm going to skip over Saturday because I want to get back to that. But I just wanted to mention that was something I was able to put together.
Mhm.
Sunday, forgot we're not live, but I can edit this for Saturday. Sunday, we were invited up to Perth Amboy.
Oh,
for
yes.
Our first speaking commitment, engagement, whatever you want to call it, at a Halloween event. And one of our previous attendees was putting this together, and he has a band, Mikkel's Plot. So my friend Michael invited us up, and it was at a haunted cottage.
Yeah.
Right?
It was definitely haunted too.
You guys got there before me again. You had stuff already set up, I think. Brian, your brother-in-law, had his gear.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we put a couple of REM pods out. We had the K2 out and a few different things. Yeah, everything was going. Everything was making noises. Put it that way. I had a couple of footsteps upstairs too. That was pretty interesting.
And I just felt creeped out, like the hairs on the back of my neck. That place has some history, that's for sure.
It did. And everybody kept saying there was a real heavy feeling in there. So it was a pretty neat place.
Yeah. But yeah, it wasn't the biggest place, I will say that. Very, very, nice. The decorations and everything in period, decorum, with that one room with the dolls. That was a little spooky. Beautiful garden outside.
Yeah.
But it's right on the water, right on the Raritan River. And hey,
place was
moved. Get up there.
Place was moved 4 times. Did you know
4 times?
That? Yeah, it was ridiculous.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Until where it finally rests. But yeah, we played to a full house.
Yeah.
Had a nice turnout, for a 12 o'clock on a Sunday. And there was actually another festival, a parade and everything going on in town or something.
Right.
So that's why I think not as many people showed up at first. So we went on a few minutes late, but got it going. And hey, we did our first speaking commitment, and you had the merchandise.
Yeah. We sold a couple shirts.
Got the shirts and the mug and the and the tablecloth with the Squatch Talks podcast insignia and everything. So that's pretty cool. I got one hanging up behind us in the top chest area. It says Squatch Talks podcast. On the back is the splat. Very nice. Can't wait to get more.
Real stories and encounters.
Stories and encounters.
It's a nice shirt too. I really like the feel of the shirt. They don't shrink a lot. It's a quality shirt.
Cool. Wow. And hey, we had some of the attendees take some home with them.
Yep.
So they'll be out and about, hopefully. I'm getting notifications on the screen, but on my phone.
Wow.
So as far as the rest of the day went, we did our talk. We got some we had some of the guests also tell us some of their stories, right? Did a Q&A after we spoke. We brought a couple of track casts with us. We did a little demonstration of some of the equipment we use. So I think they're fairly interested. But then we had one of the guests, Joe had some really interesting tales.
Yeah, that was what, 4 experiences he had. That was crazy. But I mean, the guy's out there all the time. That was very, very compelling. The fact that he's out there looking for wolves and polar bears too. He's in the right area,
Yeah, and real fear.
Yeah, a lumberjack. He was a lumberjack for a while, which is a great place to go find a Bigfoot. Wherever you're cutting down a bunch of trees.
Wow. which is kind of funny because now that I'm thinking about Joe, and we did the interview after our talk, I should be editing that to put together as a
You should.
segment with this. So now we got a dilemma, because I was going to do what we were going to talk about next, which is the Jacob encounter.
Well, why don't you do that? We can do that again. It'll be fine.
What do you mean?
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
There's always next week, right? Everybody,
yeah, no, either way.
Everybody agreed. There's always next week.
Good. Wow, since I already started with the Jacob.
I hate to have you back up there. Cat keeps rubbing up against the table here. Sorry. Little earthquakes go.
Yeah. You got a cat? Because I feel something licking me.
Yeah.
Heather will love that when she hears that Saturday night. But yeah, no, that's where I was going with this, because I mentioned taking Jacob and Cooper out to the Paleo Dune on Saturday. I figured we could lead into that, and then I'll play the video that I'm putting together of an actual follow-up investigation out in the field, which we've been talking about for like the longest time doing. Right. Well,
I would like to go back up to and meet with Joe and follow up on that one that he found there in North Jersey.
That was from 1974, though.
It's still there.
Oh, I know. And it hasn't changed much aside from becoming more developed, I would say.
Right.
Oh, I totally agree. It's still there. I'm just saying it's a historical, that one is. He has, like you said, 4 different events, one from 74, one from like 83 or 84.
Yeah.
One from the late 90s, and then 2014, I think. I'll have to review the audio.
2 years ago. 2 years
16?
ago and 6 years ago.
Yeah, something real recent, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that guy was full of stories. That's why I said, hey, we're not going to let him go.
Right.
Let's get him to sit down with us afterwards and get him on video right away. You know,
yeah. Joe's
didn't
on.
Seem to mind.
Hey, Joe.
Joe, I saw the notifications. Hopefully they'll tune in again on Saturday to see the rest of this. We're just doing a little teaser tonight, right? Just kind of recapping the weekend, letting people know where we're at. Got some things brewing in the future too. I had a little Zoom interview across the pond yesterday with the BBC.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
How'd that go?
Actually went pretty well. You know, I was the only one available to get on the call with her, so I was like, yeah, I'm available. You know, so I jumped on.
Heck yeah.
And we spoke for a few and tightened up a date in November. They're gonna come out. They're gonna go via Oregon to come here to the Pine Barrens. It's not gonna be a video version. It's Audible.
Okay.
So it's gonna be on Audible. I don't know what it is, but it's exclusively about Ong's Hat and the Pine Barrens.
Okay.
But they want somebody who's, you know, semi-knowledgeable to lead them out there. So I said, hey, for the afternoon, I'll be happy to do it. And they're actually going to pay us. So nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Which is cool. Sounds
great.
I just anytime we have an opportunity to network with producers or production companies, whatever the case is, you know, we want to make sure we do that, you know?
Heck yeah.
And it gives us more experience, so that's always good.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Anything else on your end? I mean, you got the merch going on, and that's looking really good.
We're doing that. I'm doing some research for that investigation we're doing in a week or so.
And we got to have the witness join us for that one as well, right?
We're going to try. We are close.
No problem. But listen, that's cool because you know what? That's like kind of like a little thing we can delve into. Like I said, I got the Jacob one, right? Then we'll have on the interview we did with Joe the following week. And then maybe by that time, we'll have the ability to do a follow-up with that one. And either way, we're going to do it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, that's not the problem.
I know, I'm just saying. Just like I said, wanted to get on and tell everybody where we're at and what a great weekend we had.
Yeah. Yep. Big stuff happening.
Big stuff. So thanks, Brian B. for squatching and for coming up with us on Sunday. Appreciate your toys, your REM pod. That sucker was going off all day, man. That was really from the moment we got there. And nobody was like standing right next to it.
Nope.
I haven't listened to the
audio.
We may have some EVPs. Because remember at one point I was asking some questions.
Yeah. Even when we were asking questions during the presentation, we might have got replies.
Somebody responded. Or maybe some more questions.
That's right.
Get out.
You never know.
But no, thank you, Brian, for bringing up your gear and helping out as always. And yeah, we're looking forward to having you join us on our Jersey and PA expeditions, and Patty too, and her husband Eric, and her brother Tony has already also said he'd like to join us. So it's going to be great. Can't wait.
Definitely.
But yeah, and I just had my first inquiry from another guy, Mike, who wants to come on board. And hey, some of these guys that were at the event Sunday, they are very interested in getting out there with us. So who knows? They may be joining us as well.
There we go.
But hey, I'm glad you had a good time.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah,
it was definitely fun.
Interesting people in this business.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
great places. I like getting into the paranormal a little bit, watching the equipment work a little bit, and trying to pick up on the different vibes. You know,
we were up the street actually from the most haunted house in America. What was that called? Providence House or something? Do you remember?
Vaguely, I looked at it a little bit. I can't remember what it was. Brian,
I'm sure Brian will know. He can, when we're live chatting, he can put the name in for us. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I was told anyhow. And again, while we're live, in case Mike's watching, Mike from Mikkel's Plot, thank you for having us up. And and real quick, he gave me something for coming. Remembered our episode with Matt.
Yeah.
And he got me a Leonard Nimoy CD, Mysterious Monsters, and Camp Pine Barrens from Weird, New Jersey, which I think is really cool. I can't wait to put that on my truck.
That is really cool.
Isn't that really cool?
That is neat.
I mean, how did he know I wanted that?
Weird,
New Jersey.
That's really neat.
So thank you, Michael. It was a pleasure to come up and join you, and hopefully we'll get to do it again. All right.
And for the 5 people that hung out with us while we were live, thanks for squatching.
Hey, I'm Eric Spinner, BFRO investigator and organizer, and I'm out here in the Pine Barrens today doing a follow-up on a 2018 report that came into our website not long ago from one of my attendees, actually, from a previous New Jersey Pine Barrens expedition. We just made it through some marshy area to get onto this paleo dune. I don't know if you can see, but the wildfires that were burning large tracts of land here in the Pine Barrens came through this area. But a lot of new growth is coming back. So I'm here today with Jacob and Cooper. Both are witnesses from the event back in June of 2018. And we just regrouped. Hey guys. I think so. Oh yeah.
That's okay. Hopefully they're just friendly and not to get all upset about us coming on here.
Hey, we're not going to be long.
Yeah, because there's just no way in hell you're getting, because you see it's like an old logging road of some type,
right?
Some sort of, it was definitely like some sort of trail at one point.
Wow.
I'm saying we were like almost knee deep at one point in some of these areas. We were knee deep at some point.
Were you getting water in your boots?
Almost, yeah. Luckily we were able to avoid it. But
Yeah. Well. And this takes you out to that other road that I got stuck on?
206, yeah.
Okay.
So you actually go past another paleo dune.
Right.
And then from there you go further in and there's a it'll eventually spit you out right back onto 206.
Okay. I forget if it's Brenda's road or something that I got stuck on.
Yeah.
That next road up there on the right.
So then we came out from there. When I looked at this place on maps, it was like a fork. It was like a fork going into the forest. It was a fork going towards the cranberry bog.
And yeah, I think they just harvested these cranberries that were over on Dave's Road.
Yep.
Doesn't look like there's any more on the bushes.
Because even though it's burnt, you can still see there's ways to get in and out of here pretty easily.
Oh, for sure.
It's a very heavily traveled area for a paleo dune out in the middle of Wharton. But just kind of where we got out and started to take our stuff out and start looking around. Kind of where the tree is wide,
Uh-huh.
like a Y shape. This is kind of where we were at. We started kind of getting our stuff out, started getting the papers out, and we kind of started walking around looking for what we could find.
Okay.
We decided to start on the finger over here, which goes towards the thicker part of Wharton.
Now, there's been some uncertainty with what you were doing when you first got here, Cooper. Did you have to go take a leak or something? Is that why you were away from Jacob? Do you remember?
I was just walking around.
Just checking things out?
Yeah, I was just checking out other areas.
Okay. So we'll have to edit that episode. No.
Yeah, I thought it was either that or he had to pee or something, but
And
I figured it was one of the two.
And so you guys got your gear out and stuff. You were just checking things out, scoping the area.
Kind of do our thing. What we do when we get to a new area, we kind of start to scout. We start to like look for the good habitat, whatever we can find, sheds.
Down trees, logs, stumps, things like that.
Stumps. Daytime. I'm gonna go through the woods. I think we walked up there.
Okay.
So when me and Cooper are out, we kind of we just zigzag, kind of back and forth through the habitat. Oh, there's somebody up there now. Because there's the
I see it, yeah.
Is there somebody up there? No, I don't think so.
No.
So we were kind of coming up. And I would say it was probably more towards around here, where he might have walked off to go do his own thing. I think he went to go check out another part of the paleo dune.
Well, I can understand why you would be a little,
I mean, I'm with
freaked.
three people right now. I'm getting a little heebie-jeebies because I'm like, I hope there's no one out here hunting all that stuff. So I kind of had that in my mind. And this, keep in mind, this is a full-grown, but full size.
This was all filled
shed
in, though.
almost.
Yeah.
Very
It
thick.
was like right in there, right? To our right. Is that
Oh no,
where
it's still there. It's still
Talking
there.
about where I had the encounter?
Yeah.
It was further. It was like
further that way.
northeast or more of where the thing was, where it was, heavy bipedal stepping for about 8 seconds. Saw a flash of something, and then like shiny, like sleek fur. Another 2 seconds kind of went by, and it just stopped, and that was the encounter. Wasn't the fantastical class A, but it was definitely.
Because I thought I saw something too over there, like real shiny fur. But it was really hot out that day, so it was like fast, and the trees are really thin. So then it just then I just didn't see any more of it. So I was like, I don't know what that was.
See, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what that was. It was real quick, and then it was just gone. It was gone.
Wow. Well, they do move fast, Are these snake holes, or is this?
No, this is just digging from.
That's just like a squirrel.
Probably skunk digs.
Yeah, skunk digs. You got squirrels digging,
Okay.
especially this time of year. It's stuff starting to bury their
They're nuts.
Yeah, so
They're food stores for the winter.
kind of walking up this way, and you know, as herpers, we see something like a shed, and you think there could be boards around, there could
Sure.
be something put. So I'm looking around, and that's when I started hearing the I said I was standing kind of more right in the general vicinity.
Okay. So you were basically under the blind.
Yeah, 'cause I remember I was kind of walking around looking, and I still had that, you know, feeling inside. I'm like, there's probably some weird guy out here somewhere. That kind of was in my mind. I'm like, who's living in that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and it's big enough that you could think that. You know. It's
That's when I started hearing the tromping, and it looks like it was a mixture of it. It was definitely bipedal stepping, but it was like kind of like what that Andy guy described. It was something splashing the water
Right.
as well as walking, and it wasn't a deer because deer don't sound like that. And kind of I may have heard a couple stick cracks, and then just sleek. And the way the sun was, it was kind of setting.
so. It was
So the sun
about
was facing me, so it was not as illuminated as it should have been. So
it was later in the
shadow.
day.
It was late. It was like 1 to 2,
okay.
and
Well,
heard it continue for a couple seconds, and that's when I stopped hearing it, and that's when it really freaked me out because I feel like in a weird way, if I continued to hear it, I would have been a little less on edge. But the fact that it stopped,
right.
that's when I was like, all right, we got to go, because that was definitely something on 2 legs.
It's like when you see a bug in the bathroom, and then
Yeah, so I was
you look
like-
again and it's not there, and you're like, where did it go?
Yeah.
And like I said, at the time, the last thing on my mind was it being a Bigfoot or something.
Oh, sure. You weren't even thinking Bigfoot.
No, I was thinking like we're freaking
You're thinking some crazy ass piney with a
exactly like a rusty
chainsaw.
Yeah.
And that's all that's left of that enclosure.
Yeah.
It got burned out by the fire. So, wow,
It's a shell of its former self.
that's awesome. Well, last time you and I were here, you actually went out to where you thought you saw it.
I did, yeah.
And I had trouble, even with your orange hat on, seeing where you were.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, so that's about, I would say, 75 yards
Yeah.
to that where it gets light over there at
And
the
like
tree
I
line.
said, over time the distance kind of got fuzzy,
Mm-hmm.
exactly from where it was. Especially when you see something there standing there and all that. It was quick and moving.
So, Cooper, you didn't hear any of this, though, the footfalls going through the wet ground, you said.
No.
But you caught a glimpse.
If he was over here, then I was like right over here.
Yeah, he was
See,
kind
I
of
was
directly
going that way,
behind me.
and I remember turning and I saw something like tall, sleek, and shiny
Mm-hmm.
moving through the trees, and then it was gone. And then like he told me that he just seen something crazy. He was like, I think I just saw a Bigfoot, and I was like, really? And then I just like, I know I seen something, but it was like so hot that day, and like we were both like really thirsty, and then
Oh, and beat up from the briars and everything else coming in, I'm
whatever
sure.
it was, if it was really something there, was just moving fast because it was just hot out, and like, you know,
Yeah.
with the way that time flies, it was just like, you know, it was just gone before we even knew it. Like we didn't, it must have just could have seen us, and it was just going about its day, and then it was just gone, and then
Right.
here we are
Yeah.
years later, and it was like, yeah, that was,
We kinda
wow, that was a
just-
while ago, but it was.
We kind
Oh,
of
sure.
got out of there.
The days used to go a lot faster, so I'm sure if it was here now, though, you know, we'd have time to sit here and like actually like watch it. You know what I mean? Like we'd have time to find it and stuff.
Have you been here since that occasion, Cooper?
No, I haven't.
This is your first time back?
Yep.
Can you describe how you're feeling being back here? Obviously, you didn't have the same experience Jacob had, but you know, it's like some people when they return to a site where they had an encounter, they sometimes get a little, you know, heart racing or anything. Do you feel any different, or you're cool with it?
No, I'm cool with it.
Alright.
Looks like they had a burn here, though, a controlled burn.
Oh no, this is where the wildfires came through, right, Jacob?
Yeah, the wildfires actually, 13,500
Oh
acre
yeah.
wildfire came through
It
here.
used to be a lot thicker around here. It
Right.
used to be a lot like thicker. There was all these bushes were like standing.
Uh huh.
So now it just looks like real like.
And I find it
You can
interesting
see it for what it is
that
here.
he couldn't see me very well, even though it was a lot thicker back then. So like I said, when I said it must have been like a lot taller
Yeah.
or whatever for it to like kind of like tower over the branches.
Do you remember what color the hair was that you said it was shiny?
It was sleek.
Sleek.
It was sleek and shiny. It looked like whatever it was like tall, dark, and like skinny, and it was moving like really fast.
But
it
you
was,
couldn't-
It was there, like it moved from like tree to tree,
right. But quick.
Yeah, and the trees are really thin, so it was like there. It moved from like one tree to the other, and then it was like just like gone.
Gone.
It was just gone, and then
Yeah.
and then I questioned it in my own mind. I was just like,
Yeah.
I think I saw like whatever, because then he just said that he was like, dude, I think I just saw a Bigfoot, and I was like, in my mind I was like, I think I did too,
Like,
but I didn't want to like admit it though, you know what I mean?
Sure,
you're
you're questioning what you're like. Are my eyes playing tricks on me?
I'm like, I don't know, like.
Wow.
Because then it would just bother me, you know what I mean? Then it would just bother me on whether or not I actually did see one or not. So I just like decided to forget about it.
Okay. Kind of push it into the depths of the mind,
like
kind of thing.
Put it in the back of my mind. You know what I mean?
I do.
Because something like that would just drive me crazy.
I've talked to other people who have done the exact same thing. In fact, one lady just reported that she, for almost 40 years, repressed this memory, right? And then hearing some people's stories on one of these other podcasts actually, caused her to remember the occasion where she actually had an encounter with a Bigfoot, so it can work that way.
I think it's definitely polar opposites, where you're either gonna obsess over it,
or you're not. You know what I mean? You're either gonna obsess over it, or you're just gonna.
There's
be
no
like,
happy
I don't know
medium.
what that
Like,
was,
oh yeah, I
and
saw.
You're just gonna go about your life.
Like, I saw a Bigfoot, but yeah, screw that. I'm gonna do my own thing. Like, there's like no in betweens. It's like you're gonna try to do a thing and kind of forget about it, or you're gonna kind of.
I think it depends on the
Obsess
type
over
of encounter people
Yeah,
experience too.
yeah.
If it's like a scary one versus one like I've had where it was further away and I wasn't feeling threatened, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And then the next one was a road crossing that happened so quick, and that's the kind of thing that makes you say, I want it to happen again, and you go and use a dash cam hoping it's going to happen. And of course, whenever you have technology working, nothing happens.
Like I said, I mean, it wasn't like exactly the most frightening thing ever, but it was just spooky the way that it felt like we were kind of being, even though we may have not been getting
Right.
stalked. 'Cause
Oh,
like
totally.
I told you we weren't getting paralleled on the way out. Once we
Right.
were kind of out of here, the feeling was gone. But it was just like a feeling of like, hey, there's some. Well, at the time I was like, there's somebody out there stalking us, so we got to go.
And not to give anything away, but you have now experienced recently something that you could, compare it to with what being paralleled is actually like.
And I think the odds of that being a person is like very, very, very low.
Right.
Because
From
we
where
would
it
have
is,
seen him. You
yeah.
know what I mean? Like we would have known. Like that was like a guy, but it wasn't a person.
Right.
It wasn't a person. Especially if I saw it as well.
Well, and
It wasn't a person.
And the key thing is that we just walked through there.
Yeah.
We know how hard it is to traverse the terrain right there,
Whatever it was like 10 feet tall.
and had no problem stepping through
and
that
it was
mud.
like really quick and like just gone. Like it's
Sure.
actually kind of. It wasn't like real. Like it didn't look like it was like a real like big heavy like thing. Whatever it was, it looked like kind of like skinny.
A lot of reports in this area do involve tall, lanky.
Yeah, it was like tall,
Individuals.
lengthy, and then like
Lanky meaning
the way
like thin, thinner than
the
what
sun
we
was on it.
typically
It was
hear.
like you could tell it was black, but it like looked just like real shiny like fur.
Huh. That's
and
cool.
then it was just gone, and it was gone, and then like he obsessed over it, and then I didn't, because I was like, if I obsess over it, I'm just gonna come out here like all the time.
Right.
Because it used to be like covered. It used to have like plywood on it.
I have a picture of it when it was fully.
Yeah.
Wooded
And
up.
that had to have been like what, like that had been like 5 years ago or something.
Yeah, well, that's why I was freaked out, because in my mind I'm thinking like that's like a dwelling almost. That's not something that someone's just gonna sit there and hunt out of.
Yeah. And whatever it was real fast.
Yeah.
It was real fast. That's the thing. It was like real quick.
And you wouldn't expect a person to be able to get through there as quickly as,
Or to even
you know what
like
I mean?
be there. You know what I mean? Like while like we're here. Like
Yeah.
it's such an that's like a really weird place for a person to be moving through.
Because it's not
In
like
the first place.
It's not like the Batona Trail where there's people going in
Because
and
like
out of all
it's
the
really
time.
open right here, but then
Totally.
right there it's like really like
There's
thick
nothing in
and,
that
like,
direction.
There's
but for
nothing there.
Miles and miles of woods. So.
I mean, these are the headwaters
So-
basically of the Mullica, right?
Sure, man.
Then when it was gone, it's like there's like I think it goes like miles that way.
It does.
And it
So,
seemed like whatever it
nothing.
was like was just like
It's
gone and
nothing.
went like must have gone like right like straight that way, and then like I just didn't see it.
See, and this area, from all the reports that I've checked out in the last 15, 20 years,
Yeah, man.
this is like almost like a center point.
Yeah.
And it's always had me questioning whether they're bedding down here
or not. You know what I mean? Because I feel like they forage anywhere from like 15 to 25 miles from where they bed down.
Yeah.
And so this could potentially, and like on a paleo dune like this, where they don't have to worry about getting flooded out, this could provide them a shelter area.
You've got like a half dozen or so reports from around here.
Oh, totally.
In the general vicinity. I told you about the one lady I have on my friends list who, her name's Josette, and she had something huge running across. She's not a big believer,
Right.
but she told me that she was driving on 206 early morning hours towards this general area and had something massive running in front of her car.
Yeah.
Just out of the sight of the headlights.
And how long ago was that? That was
This was like freaking. I can't tell you the exact date, but it was in the recent times.
So
like
this
past
year?
10 years.
Oh, okay. Recent
10
10 years.
years,
Okay.
yeah.
And I had a client who was coming back from an establishment on 206. Have something similar happened to her,
Yeah.
where early morning hours something ran out in front of her vehicle. You know.
Yeah.
So there's numerous reports from this area, and like I said, they circle like right where we are. You
I
know?
think it happens to more people than we know.
Oh, absolutely.
People don't want to talk about it.
How about all the hunters that are out here that never talk about it? you know?
Because if they do that, they don't. They don't want to risk their reputation, and
They don't want to be ridiculed. That's the main
and that's
fear.
understandable. I don't think people should be ridiculed because they're not harming anyone for having
Telling.
an encounter. But
No doubt. But I know for a fact people do, have something like this happen, and they don't talk about it for whatever reason. It's in tonight's episode of our podcast, actually.
Yeah.
Tira, Nathan's daughter, talks about how she saw a juvenile on an expedition, and she didn't tell her dad about it for 5 years.
wow.
And she's a researcher.
It's hard to hold back.
Yeah.
It's crazy, But this is a prime location, man. I'm glad you showed it to me, and
Sure. So continue onward.
we should definitely check this out again in the future,
I do think that I would think about today in the next few years or so. I do want to make this general area more of a research
A
area,
regular research area for you.
because just with I'm blown away by the fact that Andy had so many
Experiences out there.
experiences out here, because that's a huge. He's like a kind of a tycoon in the Pinelands community because of his ownership of the Pinelands Adventures and his friendship with other people. I mean,
Yeah,
that's really cool to hear that he's experienced stuff out here.
no doubt. And here's one of your sheds. Is that what you call it? No,
Yeah.
not a shed. The sheds are the things that are under them, right?
Yeah, the sheds run what's under them. This is
And you get firsthand nothing.
this could be. I take these eventually. This is where I got a shed under.
So that's why Jacob and Cooper were out here in the first place. We're looking for snakes and herpetology. At the time, volunteering for the state. And now they just do it for fun. But that's usually what happens. When people are out there looking for mushrooms or looking for snakes or hunting, we have experiences, that come into our database. Like, look at this stuff. See how this glass is broken here?
Yep.
It always concerns me that a wild woodland creature is going to step on that and hurt themselves,
Good to get rid of that for sure.
There. Now it'll be less likely.
We're coming from a tree eventually. What is it?
Oh, you know what? I forgot to mention, while I was sitting in my truck waiting for you guys, I heard a knock come from my left.
Really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
It's
Yeah.
actually great that a fire can bring
It'll be beneficial in the next couple of years for sure, that this area is going to kind of rebound and
Oh,
be
for
a
sure.
lot.
That's how the pines regrow.
Yeah.
I mean, these pitch pines.
They talked about it last night. This is the necessary part of the continuation of the Pinelands as we know it, because
To keep it healthy.
we didn't have these burns, we didn't have any of this stuff happen. The pine barrens just become oak barrens.
Now look to our right here, okay? Look how all this open area. This is from where we just were with the blind. This is the marshy area, okay?
Yeah, so this is where, if you go a little further back, then that's where really the wet area starts. Seepage.
Well, definitely hunters in this area. Thankfully not today while we're out here investigating. And we continue down to the other end of the paleo dune. On our
our left is another branch of the Mullica, right?
Yeah,
Not a branch,
it's
but
spine. Yeah,
a spine.
It connects to it.
Right.
Also,
Lots of
I see
plants.
apples in the trees.
I see apples in the trees. Wow. Good eye. That's not a good sign. Guess they ate the pumpkin pie and left the apples. Oh, I see my strap. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, most of the hunters are respectful. They're not gonna.
How about that? It's still here.
Someone took a pumpkin pie and
Somebody ate the pumpkin pie and the donut.
took the brown.
Apples are still here though. Yeah, remember I pushed aside the pine litter?
Sure.
But yeah, most likely a small woodland creature. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause it here. You know, check out our other pages. You know, like us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, share us, help us grow the channel just by commenting, right? And
Right.
sharing and subscribing.
Yes,
But
please
no.
subscribe.
Huh.
Anybody with a report they want to file, go to nasbro.com, right?
Nasbro.net.
Nasbro.net. I keep getting that wrong.
Nasbro.net. And you can
And,
also email us at
squatchtalkspodcast@gmail.com.
correct. And so,
Yep.
hey, and real quick, just want to thank our friends at Yeti Bars and make sure you use STP10 at checkout to
Get your 10% off.
Yeah.
That's right.
And free shipping. $75.
Oh yeah,
Not
$75.
that part. Anyway, it was fun, and getting out with Jacob and Cooper on Saturday. I want to thank them for joining us and allowing me to use this material on our podcast. It's
It looks
great
like
to
you guys had a good time, and
yeah, perfect day for it. We trudged through the mud. I wore my mud boots, and we actually had to go almost knee deep through the water to get to where this paleo dune was. But
I was gonna say it wasn't like it's a frequented place by other hikers. You had to really bushwhack to get there. So
no, we did. But the weirdest thing was there was like 5 cars in this area, which is not far from this piney hunting club too. So when I first got there, I was by myself waiting for him, and yeah, I heard a knock to my left actually while I was waiting there, and it wasn't a gunshot; it was a knock. And then it turns out there was only a couple of hunters. There was other people doing some other kind of exploration. I forget, it was for plant species. Okay.
oh, okay.
But yeah, this is a very rich in flora and fauna area. And so a lot of people, I guess, apparently go there when the weather permits to do research.
Oh, wow.
And while we were out, we also checked for snakes because of the, herpetology.
Herpetologists.
Yeah.
Got to look for
But
the
thanks.
snakes.
Thanks, Jacob and Cooper, for joining me and telling us about your encounter. That's pretty cool to get out there with both witnesses,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
hear it straight from the source. So
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get more opportunities to do that in the future. So let us know what you think in the comments, right?
Yep.
And email us your questions too. And tune in Saturday nights, 8:00.
Thanks for squatching.
Good, right?
Sometimes it takes me a second to get the hint.
That's cool. I can always edit that second.
That's why I said
know what I
still
mean?
a lot.
I'm going to call it Jacob's creature.
Why not? It's his name.
We're North American, Sasquatch and Bigfoot, not just Bigfoot researchers.
Right.
We're Sasquatch and Bigfoot researchers.
I think it makes sense. Lots of
Monsters are such interesting people. And
it can't go anyway but good for us. I'm sorry. It's got to be good for us.
yeah.
It was just, I don't know. Yeah, no, I thought everything went really well. She
Yeah.
looked great. I mean, everything.
Yeah. Well, I guess that hot tub's looking better all the time. Hey, sorry. So,
Okay.
I don't know. Hey, I'm just looking for a nice weekend getaway.
I'm-
I'm rolling. I forgot.
I'm good with not going out. You know that.
Dude, you can't hike anyway.
That's right.
I think you'll like it. It's like I said, it's a little bit Godzilla meets Squatch Talks, you know?
It's going good, man. We're kicking ass.
That's right. So I don't think I had any opportunity to offend her at all. And you know what? It's like I said, it was our first time doing this really, as you know, instead of in a expedition standpoint,
Right.
right? It was to the general public, and
Mhm.
you've done it before, I guess, technically at the library or at Ricketts Glen. you
Yeah.
know?
It was
Yeah.
one of those ducks, you know, underwater. My feet were like, "Ah! Get me out, get me out." That's why I kept going outside, just sort of like
Fresh air. Yeah.
blow it all out. And then I could come back in.
I mean, no disrespect, I said, but I'm not a paranormal expert, I said. So this, this is not my area of expertise. He's showing me the orbs and, and I'm
Right.
like- so I went out with Jacob and Cooper on Saturday.
Yes.
I told you about that?
Yes.
Okay. And I filmed it with my phone and recorded it on the selfie stick, Kimbrough Audio.
Right.
So I'm in the process of putting together like a half-hour investigation. I took the Kimbrough Audio and I dubbed it in. That's
Right.
what I did. So I had to go on to Audacity just to cut the video into usable segments
Okay.
and then add it into the video, because there's only certain, like 3 or 4 videos that I took. Okay. And it's almost like a Japanese movie. And I think, well, so that's why doing this kind of stuff is like it's like brain candy, I call it. I got some great GoPro footage just driving out along the sandy roads, and we took a little hike on the Batona Trail. Yeah, it's good,
Good.
really good. Just what I needed.
You had max capacity.
We played to a full house.
Yeah. Yeah. There was even a couple people we couldn't see.
Yeah.
I meant the people with the REM pod. And then when
Yeah.
we started, when the K2 was going off, sitting on the table,
Mhm.
when we were talking, that was pretty neat.
But even though we're going to be live, I can combine it with and it'll be like a 50-minute episode. You know what I mean? I end the audio with us coming up on the trail camera, and the apples are still there in the trees, but the pie is gone and the donut's gone. And the pan is filled with water. Okay. So I just say, I'm going to end it here. Boom. That's when I was going to come back and narrate it with, upon further review of the trail cameras, it was shown that the Squatch curse was alive and well, and either that or I don't know how to, turn on a trail camera because there was nothing on it. I want to thank Jacob and Cooper for spending the afternoon with me and recanting their story.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how I was going to narrate that ending. But you and I can do something.
Whatever you think is best. I can't wait till my mustache goes gray.
Oh yeah. Well,
It looks dark there, doesn't it?
we can work on that. Health Haven 2, yes. Go live. Hey. Go
How's everybody
live.
going? How's everybody
Yeah.
doing?
I don't even have my phone. Do you have your phone?
I do have my phone.
I don't have mine. So I don't have a clue.
There was a beep?
I heard a beep on my end. All right. That's a plan.
All right.
That's good. It's been a
I
while
will-
since the two of us went to Cabela's.
That's, yeah.
And that way Heather can get me some things off of my Christmas list.
All
Love you.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Squatch Talks Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and give us a like. And stay tuned for more exciting stories on Squatch Talks.